Minute Maid Zero Sugar tastes so great it sells itself. So we didn't bother to grind this out. Minute Maid Zero Sugar, great taste, zero sugar.
Oh. All right, we're at Jana's Market Grill. Royal Ross, Gordy Kosfeld. We're joined by Jesse Armbruster, the wrestling coach for the Faribault High School Falcons, who co-op with Bethlehem Academy in wrestling. And I think Shattuck, too, is involved in that, and MSAD, and maybe all the schools. But Royal, let's talk about Jana's Market Grill.
Yes.
The lovely Jana stopped by just moments ago, and you had a chance to chat with her. I was busy setting up. So what did you talk about?
Jana is busy scurrying around down here, kind of overseeing her kingdom. But it's something very interesting today. We always talk about coming down here to Jana's and picking up the either hot food or cold food that you could heat up later. But she also sells food in like 5 or 6 different local locations, like ABC Bus, the Faribault West Mall, KGP, I believe. So she's expanding her reach a little bit into some of the local businesses and the area around here. Some are set up in vending machines. Others are set up where they are actually displayed and they have somebody selling the product. So folks, you can find Jana's Marketplace just about anywhere, but stop down and check out her food. It's absolutely wonderful. I noticed out there today something new that I hadn't noticed before. It's a turkey bowl, turkey mashed potatoes and gravy bowl. I'm like, wow, that sounds really good.
I had scalloped potatoes and ham bowl the other day.
Yeah, that sounds really good. So, folks, come on down to Jana's Marketplace, check it out, sit down, have a hot meal, get a couple to go, and pop them into the microwave at home later this week or the office, and they'll be great. You'll have a fresh, delicious, hot meal that's made right here in Jana's kitchen.
And the soups are homemade and incredible.
Soups are awesome. Yeah, always has wild rice, always has chili. And then I think she mixes in a couple other flavors every
chicken
week.
And dumplings.
Yep.
I've had those before.
Yep. So she does a great job.
Very good. You could eat nutritiously and have nothing but Jana's Market Grill food.
I believe you could, and have a variety, because like I've talked about their salads before. They have 9 different salads or something like that. So you can eat healthy, and it is very, very good, and all made right here in Jana's kitchen.
And salads aren't necessarily healthy.
The salad itself is, but the dressing, maybe a little, maybe a little iffy on the dressing. You don't put on a half a bottle, okay?
Yeah, well, I know. Jesse, you guys talk about nutrition a lot in wrestling, right?
We do, yeah. It's part of our everyday practice, and we work with our athletes quite a bit on intake and what that can do for us.
Did they emphasize that when you were in high school?
Oh, absolutely. Like I often share with our kids, it's a science. I remember in high school I started getting a taste of, having a proper diet when you're competing and what that consists of. In college, it was so specific. Like I knew exactly what was going in my body and calorie in, calorie out, that type of thing. So as I often share with the kids, it is a science. So we set up meal plans that will enhance peak performance. And our kids, we work back from a date. So we give them menus like day before a night match or a tournament. We give them 3 days out, a week out, 2 weeks out, and what they should be doing. And what they should be putting in their bodies. So
now, do you have a dietitian do that, or how do you?
So a lot of it is, we've taken from other programs, specifically college programs that we've taken, sat down with other coaches, and we've looked at things. We have spoken to some experts on various things. Quite honestly, now I'm not sure how much of either of you have experienced like AI, but. You can create a...
Yeah, I bet that would come in big.
It's huge. Like you can create a meal plan for...
As long as you can trust it.
As long, I think it's a wonderful, wonderful thing, but it's like anything else. You got to be a critical thinker when you're looking at it and saying, all right, really, will this donut really do that for me? I don't think so.
Yeah, I could use AI to put together a dietary plan for me, and I can almost bet you it would be coming from the Hershey's chocolate plant. I mean, they would be saying, Royal, this is what you need to eat to be healthy. And okay, I'll eat it.
Based on your frequent searches, this is what we...
based on your frequent searches, yes. Yep. So, but that is really good. Now, I know we talked to the cross-country teams twice in the last 4 weeks, and they have a big pasta meal, the night before and stuff. Wrestling, do you guys get together for a meal, or how do you do that?
It's a little bit tougher for wrestling.
Because some are cutting weight.
When you're holding weights, and, we like to talk about weight management. There's a big misconception in the sport of wrestling that wrestlers don't eat, or they will go through periods where they starve themselves. And while sometimes they're minimizing calorie intake, like I always tell our athletes, if you want to compete at a high level, you have to put nutrients into your body. And that was a struggle that I had when I was pulling weight. Back then we'd call pulling weight or cutting weight. I struggled with thinking that, I can't eat today, I can't eat tomorrow, I got to go run, to where, what happened to me, I remember I was in one practice and I came in, I was really disappointed because I was like 3 pounds over the mark that I was supposed to be at for the day. And I was just sluggish, I had no energy, and coach came over and asked what was going on. I said, Coach, I haven't eaten in like 2 days, and he literally pulled me out of practice. We went across campus to our little Murphy Square diner, and I had a meal, and I'm just like, I guess making weight's out of the question. About an hour later, I was back in practice. I felt so good. I was moving, and I left there like 2 pounds less than what I was hoping to be for the day. So you have to have energy, and food is fuel. So,
and that was a college experience.
That was
right?
college experience. So I talk to our kids all the time, like, guys, you have to put fuel in to you got to fuel the body, just like you'd put
fuel
gasoline
in to get energy.
Yeah, if you don't put gas in your car, it's not going anywhere.
And look at that lesson you learned. You burned more than you thought you'd.
Absolutely. Burn. So it was a great lesson for me, because from that point on, I didn't skip meals anymore. I was really disciplined in what I put in my body, but skipping meals, you can see now I'd never skip a meal.
Still look pretty good to me. What do you think, Gordy?
No, yeah, you could wrestle. Yeah. He might be a higher weight than he was.
A little higher weight,
yeah. And it might be like the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight, where the rounds are cut down to 2 minutes instead of 3 or 5. But
absolutely.
High school, you were what, 150, 145?
Oh, gosh. That's what I weighed, but that's not what I wrestled. I wrestled 125 in high school and 126, 134 in college.
Wow.
So
that's a small dude, and you're not a small man.
No, I mean, I walked around campus about 170 pounds, and then I would wrestle like 134, but I was really good at maintaining or a disciplined diet, and weigh-ins were a little bit different. We had convenience weigh-ins, so I could weigh in the night before, and I had 24 hours to refuel and
how do you lose
rehydrate.
40 pounds and not lose strength?
I don't know. I think not a lot of people are able to do it, Gordy. I was just one that I was able to pull weight, and I think the most I pulled was like 14 and a half pounds in about 90 minutes.
What?
But it's true. Yeah, it's
that was one big poop.
But that would have been nice. But no, that was, and back then we were allowed to use saunas and sauna suits, and those things are all illegal in the sport of wrestling.
Oh, they
today.
are?
They
Okay.
are, yeah.
No,
which is good. That's it's not a healthy thing. Like I said, I learned a lot. I learned a lot as an athlete on the proper way of doing things, and so I hope to share that with our athletes today. And like I said, wrestling it's different today. Like with weight certifications and doctor checks and making sure that we're hydrated. We do our hydration tests and things of that nature. So it's a much safer sport today. Mm-hmm. But oh yeah, those were some great days.
Well, let's talk about you got an event going on right as we speak here, don't you? The event?
Yeah. Little Falcons is actually they started 8 minutes ago. So I was there helping this morning get things ready to go, and our little guys and girls. I say girls because it's one of the fastest growing sports in the United States, and we have several girls wrestling our Little Falcons program right now, to the point where I was actually just taken back and watching the girls compete, and I thought, wow, you're probably going to see a Faribault girls team at the high school relatively soon. I would say.
Yeah, I went to my grandson's first wrestling match. You know, he's in the pre-K through 5th grade range. I think that tournament was, and there's a lot of girls out there, and they were darn aggressive, and you know,
they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
It was impressive to watch. So actually, we went to our board meeting after a Friday night duel, and we had the following Monday we had a board meeting, and I was so impressed with our girls. That's where we were kind of talking about let's focus on getting a program put in place. So
yeah, and it was you know at least when I was there, for the time I was there was one person that kind of got hurt. It was a girl. She got elbowed right in the mouth, but she collected herself. You guys gave her a minute. She came back together and she stayed out there, finished the match.
Yeah.
So
it's fun to watch those little kids wrestle. It's really fun.
It is. Some of them, you can tell the ones that just have an aggressive nature to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can tell the ones that are like,
here I am. Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to be out here because some guy's going to hurt me or some girl's going to hurt me. But
so it's pretty neat. This is a Little Falcons program, and we've been doing Little Falcons wrestling for a long time. With the elementary, our high school coaches and our middle school coaches and our high school and middle school wrestlers act as coaches and referees and table workers, and we do this through the Little Falcon. Ryan Lucan is a big part of getting all of our Little Falcon programs set up in Faribault, which is really neat. So you see hockey, you see basketball, you see all these different sports that are growing because of this program, and it's an introductory program. Teaches the fundamentals, the basics. Parents have an opportunity to come in and see what we're all about, and then we conclude so we have 3 duels. So like Jefferson will host Lincoln one night, or Roosevelt might host Jefferson, and then they have those duels, and then today is our big city championship. So everybody comes.
Is this the wrap up of it?
This is the wrap up, and then kids that families that are like, wow, this was really cool, we really like this, then they can sign up for our Green Machine program. So and then that's a little bit more extensive. And
what are the ages of the Green Machine?
So Green Machine is K. We do have pre-K, so there are a few. It actually goes through 8th grade. So our middle school kids, after they're done wrestling middle school, they'll come back to Green Machine and compete in that. So,
but that is one of the biggest things that has continued our great program here in Faribault, isn't it?
Absolutely.
You gotta have the feeder program where you're bringing the younger generation up, and so I would have to believe that that's one of the things that make it worthwhile.
Yep, absolutely. I think if you have to have that feeder program, it's so important to have that.
Yeah.
And that's something that we've had for quite a while. So.
Okay. All right. Well, now let's move up to the high school. How's our varsity looking this year?
Well, as I'm, people that follow our program probably are wondering the same question, because we graduated a very big group, a very talented group. I think we had 9 varsity guys that graduated, 12 overall seniors last year. And 9 of those individuals were in the starting lineup, and I think 6 of them have state tournament experience. So, if you think about Faribault wrestling, even the last 5 years, as many of those kids have been on varsity, I think that's 3 section championship appearances, big 9 titles. I want to say they have over 100 team victories in those 5 years. Like, it was a really, really talented group that we graduated, and because of that, there's a lot of guys that are in our room that just don't have varsity experience. So we got a big question mark. I mean, we know that we have some youth and we have some inexperience at that higher level. At the same time, we've got guys that have been in that lineup. We have Justin Sanoa, we have Elaine Kuhlman, who has been ranked. Chase Vargo, who went to the state tournament last year. I would expect that he would come out ranked. A newcomer to our program who was in the Green Machine, but then kind of took a little bit of a break was Aiden Conrad, and his brother was at the state tournament for us. So I have high hopes there. And Jaden Hart is back in our lineup, and Xavier Padilla is also there. But then we had some success. We had some great deal of success on our JV level. So it's time for those guys to come in there, and I'm excited to see what guys can do there.
Now, in the past, one of the things we've always talked about year in, year out with you specifically and your team specifically is you don't take it easy on them. I mean, you schedule tough matches. So, we've talked about you don't need to be 13-1. You would rather be, 9-5, but have key build-up matches and stuff. Are you doing that with this team?
Yeah, so I have a philosophy with the schedules, and you really kind of want to know who your team is based on the competition you're going to compete against. So I believe that when I schedule our schedule, other than our conference, that's scheduled through our conference, but I look at I want 25% of our schedule to be no-brainers. Like, we go out there and we are expected on paper, the Vegas betting lines, we are going to come away with a victory.
Yeah.
And then 25% should be, there is no chance that we should win. Like, we go there, we are a big underdog, but it is next level. Like, now we can go back to the wrestling room and we can say, here's what we have to do if we want to be there. If we want to be this team or beat that team, this is what we have to do. And then 50% of our schedule, in my opinion, should be toss-up. It should just be a competitive, grinded-out kind of duel, and you find out where you are. So we've done that, and in doing that again this year, and I'm thinking about some of our youth and some of our inexperience, so I've kind of modified our schedule a little bit. But when I was talking to the high school league and getting our officials set up, and they were asking for home meets, I know we were talking a little bit about this before, I was like, we've got this night, and we've got this night, and oh my gosh.
That
was it. So Faribault Wrestling this year, if you're going to want to watch us, might have to be on the road a little bit. But, a couple of our matches, we got a Goodhue, we're at Northfield, we're at Owatonna, so we're not too far from home, but we're not in our gym. So that's sometimes that happens. I had another year where I think we only had 3 or 4 home meets, and we wrestled a fairly heavy tournament schedule. We won a lot of duels and a lot of individual tournaments. This is kind of a few more individual tournaments this year with our inexperience to give them an opportunity to grow in those tournaments. So it's kind of what we're going to run this year.
Well, I know that's something that I've always respected about you personally and your program is that, you don't take on the cupcakes. You get out there and you say, well, guys, we're gonna wrestle some good competition, but this is gonna pay off later in the season.
Absolutely. We've and I know we've had those conversations. I've gone into those seasons where I can remember this group that just graduated, for example. I remember a year I think we were like 25-1 or 25-2 or something like that, and we went into the section tournament as the number 2 seed, I believe, and we got beat first round. But then you look back at our competition, it's like, well, we didn't really prepare them. We didn't prepare them for the end of the season. So ever since then we've gone into the section tournament with 20, 21, 22 wins, but we'll have 10 losses.
Yeah.
And it's usually losses against the number 1 or number 2 ranked team in the state. And we've gone out and we've sought out that type of competition. I'm not sure if this year's squad, I'll necessarily look for a number 1, 2, or even anyone in the top 5, but we'll definitely wrestle some top 10 ranked teams this year.
And the kids buy into this philosophy too, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a sport that you can't run. Like, you are out there, you're front and center for the world to see. So,
and by that you mean you can't run away. You're just
right,
one-on-one. You're right there facing each other. You got to do it.
We're gonna, like we talk to our kids about, we're gonna be the buffalo and not the cow. If I don't know if you know the difference, but if there's a storm, a cow will often turn and run. And what happens? They're in the storm for a long time, where a buffalo will run head first into that storm, and they get through it a lot faster. So we like to be the buffalo, and we'll face adversity and challenges, and we'll meet them head on. And you learn a lot about yourself in the face of adversity. So
I beg to differ with you on the running. When I was in Phi Ed in high school, and we had wrestling in one of our, I ran. And the coach goes, get in there and wrestle, Kosfeld. What are you doing? I said, hey, isn't the goal for him to catch me and put me on the mat? If he can't catch me, he can't put me down. And he goes, just get in there and wrestle.
You'd get stalled out today.
Yeah.
Jordy. You'd get called stalled out.
No, that's true. Yeah, you're right there.
Now, you've had a heck of a program here, and you've been around this program for, boy, decades probably now. Your role has evolved. So where are you in your role right now with the whole Faribault High School system?
That's a great question. I've we've been working on I've kind of had a couple co-head coaches the last few years, in part because I was traveling quite a bit and watching my daughter play ball, who she just finished up her career last year. So, but in my new role now as an administrator here within the district, it's a little bit tougher to get in practice on time and things like that. And so, I've had a co-head coach, and it's been great. We've had a great working relationship, and I've been trying to, share knowledge on how to take the program over, because you are right. If I was just talking to somebody about this the other day, because we did some quick math, and in my time as either an athlete here in Faribault or as a coach, this is year 41.
Wow!
So been involved with Faribault wrestling for a long time, and the writing's on the wall, right? Like I still love the sport, but like sometimes I get out of bed and I'm like, oh, here we go. Like you can do this. Let's get through it. So, I think that a head coach needs to bring a lot of energy and passion. And like I said, I love the sport of wrestling. I love coaching. But the energy is a little bit lower today. So
yeah. Well, and that's understandable, because you've got so much in the tank, and you are having your focus spread out a little more.
Yeah,
with your administrative role.
Absolutely. I'm still very, very proud of our coaching staff. I believe we have a great coaching staff. We have individuals that understand that we're teaching life skills. Not just wins and losses, but life skills. We're teaching about, being a person of great character and learning from mistakes and facing adversity and all the things that make people great in this world and make us a community. So that's a big focus, and I think we just have some wonderful, wonderful coaches from our green machine all the way through our middle school to our high school that are there for kids. I just had a parent the other day who was saying, I am so glad that my child came through this program, because I think they learned a lot more about themselves than just how to be a wrestler. They learned what it means to be a person of great character, and what it means to be a good father or a wonderful husband, and things like that. And and we talk to our kids about that. We talk to them about what it means to be a person that people in the community look to and respect. I watch your son right now, who came through our program, and I watch how he interacts with his child on the mat, and it's wonderful. Those are the things that put smiles on my faces. It's I can I share that with kids. Like, yeah, we're gonna have some good laughs, and we're gonna tell some great stories about our time as an athlete. But what's gonna make me so happy is if when I come down to a restaurant like Janet's here or something, and I see a former athlete sitting at a table with his family, and they're laughing, and I'm like, oh man, that's really cool. Yeah. That's what makes me do this today.
Is Coach Babcock still involved with the Green Machine?
He is. In fact,
he's going to be a long timer for you.
Yeah, he's and Coach is a couple years older than me. So when I was telling him that this was year 41, he had to go and do his math, and I think this is 42 for him.
He's gotcha.
So he's got me. Yeah. So we've been in this for a long time, and you guys know Coach Weber, who's also very, very big in the sport. Coach Weber he's going to retire this year.
Oh, is he?
And he started with Faribault Wrestling in 1992. I think it was 1992.
Now, even though he's retiring, can he still come back and?
He can, and he's talked about it. Yeah. But I know he's got a lot of plans as well. So we hope to send him out on a high note this year with some.
Well, I'm always happy to hear people that are going to retire, because to me, that is now the American dream. The American dream used to be, own a home. I completely disagree with that now. Now the American dream is retire, be able to retire. So I'm happy for Coach Weber. He's put a lot of heart and soul into all of, our whole program, our whole Faribault school system.
And not just wrestling. He's been involved in, track and field.
You'll see him at track and field. You see him, he's announcing at soccer games. He's helping with tickets at football games. Like, he's involved in a lot of things. So, we're happy for Coach Weber. And, right now, and he's always been that guy. I'm like, Coach, I need this, and this. And he's like, I'm on it. And so, like Little Falcons today, he is running all over the place getting things ready. So he's just a great guy. We're going to miss him.
Absolutely. Who do you have coming up as younger coaches, that are starting to blossom a little bit?
Kevin Palacios, who is also an athlete of mine, he's been coaching at our middle school, and then he comes up to the high school, so he's going to continue to do that. And quite honestly, he's somebody who I've shared with him. I'm like, man, you have the skill set to lead a program if that's ever something that you're interested in. He could be a great head wrestling coach here. Matt Becker is also, he was a former teammate of Kevin. He's involved in the program. He's coaching at the high school. We got Coach Babcock. And then we just hired a new middle school coach who is, he's a Phi teacher at Jefferson, and boy, the kids really love him. So I'm hoping that will really pump up our numbers at the middle school. And then, of course, our Green Machine. Every single coach there is a former Faribault wrestler. And now what's really neat is so many of our former athletes that are still in the area are coming through the program with kids, like, as I said, your son has a child there. I was looking at the crowd last night at our duel, and so many, I don't know if you guys remember John McDonough. John McDonough is a Navy SEAL, came through our program. He's got a child in the program. So now these guys are also, they're in the wrestling room with the kids. Like, this is great. It's just, it's always been that family kind of sport, if you will. So, you always see these guys. And I always say it's both a blessing and a curse, because, boy, when we win, they're all there, and when they lose, I certainly hear about it. Alumni love to tell me what we did wrong.
I'm going to ask kind of a, maybe a sensitive question. We've got about a minute and a half here, but I know just when my son Ren was going through the program and stuff, you did have a lot of Hispanic kids that were outstanding. I mean, I can still remember Felipe, and do we have many Somalis that are out wrestling or on any of the grade levels or anything like that, or how diverse is our wrestling program?
That's a great question, and it's an area that we've explored, and I think it would be wonderful to have more of a more representation of our community within our programs. I know that a few years ago in our Little Falcons program, we had a large Somali presence, and it was wonderful. It really was. We got to the middle school, and that population got a little bit smaller. At the high school, I can only think of maybe a handful of Somali students that have competed. Unfortunately, one day we really wanted this young man to come and wrestle for us, and he came up on his first day of practice. He broke his arm. And
oh, no.
Like, oh, gosh, this is not good. This is not good. But we still have a great population of our Hispanic family.
Well, it's certainly one of the things I always appreciated when my son was in the program was I appreciated the diversity of it, and I appreciated all the coaches and how you guys built up the program. So thank you very much for coming in today. We kind of have to move along a little bit here, but thanks for coming in. Get us some wrestlers now to come in and talk.
We'll do that. I appreciate you guys, and thanks for having us.
Yep. All right, Royal Ross here with Trek Properties, located in beautiful downtown Faribault, right across the street from the post office. Full-service real estate firm, sales of any type of property, and then we lease residential rentals, and we lease commercial property, we manage homeowner associations, and we do storage management. So if you need anything in the real estate realm, give us a call at Trek Properties, 507-334-3499, and we will be more than happy to help you out. So, Gordy, it was a good show today with the wrestlers.
The Southern